What's going on, everyone? Off the backboard once again, Wednesday afternoon with my man Jonathan Macri. You can see him on Twitter, JC Macri NBA. Jonathan, how is it going?
Going good. Going good. Tough beat last night, but
Mm,
we'll get into that in a second. Other than that, looking forward to a battle for the metropolitan area, battle for New York, whatever you want to call it, tonight. But yeah, we'll get to that in a bit.
yeah, we got a lot of big storylines between last night and tonight. Humble brag, did hit my bet last night. No De'Aaron Fox in that game. This seemed like a trap, honestly. I was really worried by the time the game was tipping because I was like, all right, three does not seem fair, but they were in control basically the whole game. You said it with your bet. That was tough. I think he ended with 11. He had 11 with like 3 minutes to go in the third. It's just what we thought could happen happened, and the Rockets suck, and the Nuggets
I,
did not have to keep playing Jokic, right?
I was about to say I blame the incompetence of the Houston Rockets as always. I hope they get James Harden back this summer. The two of them deserve each other. But yeah, good job by you. The Kings were Kevin Herter in particular was trying to give that game away at the
Yeah,
end with some butterfingers, but yeah, they pulled it out.
yeah. That James Harden comment seemed kind of loaded, but we'll save that for another show. Let's take a look at what the public hit last night. Coming off a day where the public did exceptionally well, we reverted back to the mean last night. Had the Jordan Poole over points and assists hit. Mikal Bridges hit his number just on the points alone, ended with 31 last night. But I mean, if you're still betting on Scotty Barnes points at this point, you are a maniac. Rudy Gobert barely missing out, and Zach LaVine went like 1 of 7 or something like that. So it's pretty tough night for the public last night.
Good job by anyone going to the pool party last night because
Mm.
Jordan was 13 of his previous 46 from the field in the prior three games going into last night. In two of those games, he only had 4 assists. So yeah, exploded against a Trailblazers team that seems to revel in poor defense when it matters the most. So yeah, good job by anybody who hit that one.
And shout out to DraftKings for just stealing everyone's money. Obviously, coming off of Dame's huge 71-point game, they ran a promo last night. I think they boosted it to like plus 100. They were like, okay, you have Dame and Klay Thompson. All they have to do is hit 10 combined threes. They average like 16 or something,
Yep.
and it's plus 100. And of course, they combine for like 6 made threes. So DraftKings knows what they're doing. If you see those recommended bets, sometimes they work. Sometimes they are successfully going to take your money. Okay, Jonathan, we got a lot to get to for tonight, like we mentioned. Let's start with, or let's stay with last night, actually, real quick. Just want to run through what we saw in the games themselves. Just look at some of the key results from last night. Had the Bucks with an impressive win. Giannis over 30 points. John Morant scoring 28 points, I think it was, in one quarter, which is pretty crazy. What stood out to you last night?
You're going to see you and me. I'm going to keep going back to similar themes when I believe in them. And one of them is do not believe in the Dallas Mavericks. What are you waiting for? To wake up and smell the coffee on this team. They do not cover. They come up low or light or, small, whatever word you want to use when the situation is there for a good win. And like they gave that game away against Indiana last night. They're the worst team in the league when it comes to covering their spread. So not surprised to see that result.
Yeah, I don't know how worried we should be, but the Luka Kyrie experiment has not been as fruitful as many might have hoped just on paper. We do though. I mean, we gotta address the elephant in the room here, right? I don't know why there were no like balloons and confetti going off behind me when we started about key results from last night. I mean, we're talking about the best basketball team in all of Texas here. My San Antonio Spurs
Yeah,
winning a
there you
basketball
go.
game for the first time in over a month. Um, damn, I mean, I know I'm supposed to be upset because the Rockets continue to be awful at basketball, and every game you win is inevitably a loss. But I am a broken basketball fan right now, so I will take a win. I don't care what it ends up meaning.
No, I mean, look, you need a little positivity every now and then. I did check out
Yeah.
on that game for a lot of the second half. I think we were reminded that, well, the Jazz are a pretty good team. They're not good enough to withstand the loss of key pieces and have
Mm.
the Kendrick Nuns of the world out there playing meaningful minutes as you attempt to win a basketball game, even if that basketball game is against the San Antonio Spurs. So good job by the Spurs to get off the schneid.
Yeah. If you took those Keldon Johnson points, if you listened to me and just took Walker Kessler over 2 rebounds and got Jeremy Sohan at over 11.5 or 12.5 points, congratulations. If you waited till 13.5, I am so sorry. Let's move into tonight's action because, again, we got a lot to cover for tonight. Let's take a look at the pulse of the public. We're giving you the 5 most lopsided spreads in terms of where the money is coming in betting wise. Remember, when you see handle, that means the amount of money coming in, and where you see percentage of bets, that's how many people are betting it. I do want to tell you one thing though before we get into this. We have a VIP stream going out tonight, college basketball picks. We beat the spread. Ben Rajavori and Dead Prez picks, Matt McEwen, are both going live starting at 7 p.m. tonight for their VIP college basketball picks, streaming only on YouTube. The link to join, you can see it in the description below. It's all over our Twitter as well. All you have to do is sign up on a form, and you automatically get the link to that VIP stream. Let's get back to NBA hoops, though. These are the top 5 right now. You got the Sixers, the Grizzlies on a back-to-back, the Bulls, the Suns with KD's debut. We'll talk about that in a bit. And the Cavs +5 against the Celtics. Maybe the game of the night, outside of maybe the top 2 teams in the league playing. We'll touch on that a little later. Of these 5, disagree with any of them? Anything catch you by surprise?
I mean, the Philly-Miami game, obviously coming off of these same 2 teams playing a couple nights ago and Miami winning that game. To see that strong a support for a Philly team that I don't want to say they specialize in inconsistency because they've been very good, but like anyone who's been paying attention to them this year knows, kind of trust them at your own risk. Now, do we see them losing 2 in a row against this Heat team? Obviously, the betting public does not. And I think this is a little bit of fading Miami too, like still kind of thinking, all right, this Miami team isn't going to have this magical late season run that a lot of people think they might. So that's interesting. And then just the Memphis number. Yeah, it's a back-to-back. But again, Houston, I mean, what faith can you possibly have in the Rockets? Are the Grizzlies finally over their little schneid that they were on for a while? Like a very subtle kind of, okay, not really, winning more games than we lose. But the Grizzlies have won 2 in a row now, including, convincing one yesterday against the Lakers. And before that, a convincing one against the Nuggets. So maybe they're putting it together now.
Yeah, that is that's my pick out of these for just conventional NBA betting knowledge tells you. You have a team on a back-to-back with both of these teams, actually.
Both
But
these
you
teams,
have the Rockets. You have the Rockets who just got blown out. The Grizzlies in a high-energy win. They've just beaten 2 teams in a row. This one will probably end up being close, but the Rockets are just so bad. Yep. And the Grizzlies, like you mentioned, are maybe starting to heat up and turn the ship from some of their struggles. Honestly, I would kind of lean towards taking the Grizzlies -10 here. That is a big number, but the Rockets just are so bad. Wanted to ask you about 2 other ones on this list. We'll start with Cavs Celtics. Cavs +5 getting the majority of the handle and the betting. Just in case anyone forgot, the Celtics did lose to the Knicks. That's for our producer, Nigel, in case he did forget. For the Celtics Cavs game, you put as much faith in the Cavs +5 here?
To me, when you have a game like this where there's 2 very good teams playing each other, like 5 points is it's not nothing. It's a decent enough spread. Then again, you figure Boston coming off of that last game. Here's the thing: Jaylen Brown is going to be back, which is the one thing that kind of gives me a little bit of pause with being or backing the Cavs too strongly here. I wouldn't touch this one myself.
Okay. And real quick, we're both going to talk about KD's return
Yeah.
and what it means for the Suns a little later. But just real quick, they're playing the Hornets. Of course, no LaMelo Ball for the rest of the season. -10, again, a big number. I'd probably take -10. Again, getting big backing, as you can see on your screen. What are you expecting to see from the Suns tonight?
I mean, KD is in that class of player where you're like, okay, he knows the entire NBA world is watching tonight. You feel like he's going to live up to the moment, like he's going to put on maybe not put on a show, but he's going to remind everybody, yes, I have shifted the balance of power in terms of who you guys should be thinking about as far as your new favorites in the league. 10 is a big number. Maybe a little Ewing theory here with no LaMelo Balls. Charlotte comes in, plays some inspired basketball. I mean, look, won 5 in a row. I know there's no ball tonight, but 5 in a row is 5 in a row. I'd lean Suns, but this is another one I would be a little worried about touching this one.
Okay. I mentioned 2 best teams in the NBA right now are playing. We have 3 other games. We have 4 other games, but we're not going to talk about Knicks Nets. We're going to save that for a whole branded segment. 2 best teams in the league, Bucks and Magic playing tonight. Bucks -7.5. You got to keep the bit going.
I love it.
They're getting 76% of the bets. Lakers -1 against OKC. Again, no LeBron for a while now. 62% of the bets coming in on the Lakers. And the Blazers -1.5 against the Pelicans. They did play last night. They get 49% of the handle, so big money favoring the Pelicans, but 72% of the public's bets are going on the Blazers -1.5. Of those 3, have anyone that you feel strongly about or just completely staying away from?
It's strange this late in the year when you have a team that is essentially atop their conference, talking about the Bucks, that they're the second best. They have the second best cover rate in the league, especially when you consider that if you look at their average point differential, it is not the average point differential of a team that is going out and dominating, and yet they find a way to beat expectations on a regular basis. They've covered just about 60% of their games. It's a manageable number. I know I love the bit, right? I know we love our Magic here. But 7.5 also isn't, an untenable number. Of the 3, I would go Milwaukee here.
Okay. And again, big slate, a lot of basketball that you can bet on. Always take an alt line if you aren't as positive, and maybe mix it up with something else and grab that juice back. Let's get into tonight's best bets. We're both going to be picking someone in the Suns-Hornets game. As you can imagine, maybe someone is going to be picking that, but your main pick isn't even in that game. So we're going to just be talking about that a little bit. So why don't you start us with your best bet for tonight, and then we'll just go right into that game.
So I knew just like anecdotally from watching over the years, Bam Adebayo gives Joel Embiid fits. What I did not expect to find when I went and looked it up is that 8 straight times Joel Embiid has played Bam Adebayo. He has failed to score 30 points. Those 2 players have matched up 16 times in their respective careers. 14 of those times, Joel Embiid has failed to get 30 points against Bam Adebayo. You look at Miami as a whole, they give up the second fewest points in the NBA. They're one of 2 teams that gives up below 110 points. And they give up the fewest points in the paint in the NBA, a number that is, they give up actually about 3 fewer points in the paint, or actually might be a little bit more than that, at home than they do on the road. Everything here is pointing to Joel Embiid under 30.5 points, -20 on FanDuel. I love it. I understand he's in an MVP race. I understand it's a big game coming back from trying not to lose 2 in a row against the Heat. But yeah, I'm all over Joel Embiid under points tonight.
And I mean, 30.5 is not it's not a small number either. You're not taking a 25 or a 26.5. 30.5 is a nice number. And again, anecdotally and statistically, Bam Adebayo has been very good at least slowing down Joel Embiid as much as possible. My pick for tonight, I'm going Chris Paul over 8.5 assists. Best number you can get that at is -110 on BetMGM. This has been thrown around all morning. Got up to at least -120, -130 on a bunch of books. So make sure you're using OddsChecker's grid. Description is in the description below. If you're watching on Twitter, we have it on our website and also on YouTube. This is a spot that Chris Paul has hit consistently since coming back from that injury. He's hit it in 12 of 15 games. He has missed it in his last 2. For full clarity, again, same thing for Jokic last night. Concern here is that Chris Paul does not play enough to get this number, but he has consistently played 25, 26 plus points. And again, when you're not playing as much like that, and you're hitting it 12 of your 15, I'm confident. They won by 31 against the Hornets. This is on January 24th. He had 11 assists then. He has played 3 games since coming back where he has not reached 30 minutes, and he's hit it in 2 of 3 of them. And one of them, I think he had like 3 assists, like it was just completely missed it. So I am confident, especially with KD coming back. There's just an extra arm to shoot it around, or 2 arms, I should say.
Couldn't you just see Chris Paul going out there and showing the rest of the NBA, showing the Western Conference, look at my shiny new toy, and like putting up a 6.14 assist line in like 25, 26 minutes. I love it. I think, and again, like you were saying with the Embiid number, 8.5 is, I think, here and especially at a -110.
I was literally about to say, can't you see a CP3 6-point, like 15, 16 assist night?
Yep.
We have some bonus bets. We're not officially giving them out, but we have to talk about it because we have the same bet, but we're on opposite sides of it, or just about the same bet. And that is Kevin Durant's points tonight. It started at 20.5. It bumped up to 21.5, but some books still have it at 20.5. So I have Kevin Durant under 21.5 points, which you can get at -120 on Bet Rivers. You have KD over 20.5 points, -119 on Caesars. I'll let you state your case. I'll state mine, and then people can do whatever the hell they want to do with that.
This isn't a points bet. This is a minutes bet, because you look at last season, KD came back from an extended injury absence. First game back, he played, I think it was about 35 minutes, put up 31 points in a tight game. I think it was a tight game that the Nets lost. The season before that, when he came back from an extended injury absence, it was a game that the Nets ended up blowing out. He only needed to play, or whoever they were playing, he only needed to play, I think, about 20 minutes, and he ended up getting 17 points. I think he's going to play enough that he's going to be able to hit this number, which is a number that he hit in he went over 21 points in 14 straight games before the game he got injured for Brooklyn, which is the last game that we've seen him play. If he plays, he scores. So I guess after Jokic bit me on this last night, I'm going back to the well again. I think he's going to get at least 26, 27, 28 minutes, and I think that's going to be enough for this number. I think this is again, if it was 24.5, 23.5, I'd stay away. 20.5, that's a little bit too tasty for me to walk away from.
That's fair, and you said it best. This is a minutes bet. This is not a points bet, because easily Kevin Durant in his sleep can score at least 21 or 22 points. I just look at how the Suns approached Devin Booker getting hurt. This is their shiny new car. If Devin Booker's their Ferrari, this is their like Rolls Royce. Like I don't know. I'm not a huge car guy. This is their shiny new toy.
Yeah,
Rolls Royce works. Devin Booker was about on a 25-minute limit when he was coming back, and that's a soft tissue injury, so it's a little different. But this is KD and his knee. Like, this is not a new injury for Kevin Durant. They just traded the entire farm for KD. So they're obviously not going to risk it, and sure as hell not going to risk it in a game against the Hornets. I went back the last 5 years that KD has played under 25 minutes. He has been under 21.5, 7 of 8 times. So not just injury, just in general. And this is between playing 10 and 25 minutes. So if he plays like 6 minutes, I don't count that. I just think that he's going to have his moments where he's going to score like 3 straight baskets, and he's going to have like 15 points, like midway through the third, and I'm going to be like, well, that's the end of that. Because, I mean, look, I am betting an under on Kevin Durant points, and it's under 25. Like, I'm playing with fire here. I fully acknowledge it. That's why it's not my best bet. But I think those minutes will be capped just enough, and they'll be just careful enough. I'm just banking on Chris Paul having 9 assists with like 6 minutes to go in the third, and then just sitting KD and not even risking it is my only path to victory here.
You nailed it. The unknown is why it isn't either of our best bet. I mean, in Brooklyn, you get the sense that KD called his own shots.
Mm-hmm.
If he said, I want to come back and I want to play 35 minutes tonight, Kevin Durant was going to play 35 minutes tonight. Is it going to be the same situation in Phoenix? Are they going to try to take a little bit more active of a role in his, whatever you want to call it, injury recovery, injury maintenance, those sorts of things? We just don't know. So we'll see. One of us is going to be right. That's the good news, right?
It's got to be. All right, let's go to our Knicks corner. We got Knicks Nets tonight. You can see all the money favoring the Knicks right now. This has the potential to be a bit of a letdown spot. The Nets have been rolling recently, quote unquote. If you want to talk about a team that's been rolling, it's the Knicks, especially partying at Tao last night. I haven't seen Tibbs that happy in years. I'll cede the floor to you. Give me some keys for tonight and where you're leaning on these numbers.
I feel good that they will come out with a victory. As far as the line goes, the Knicks have covered 6 straight games and 8 of their last 9. For a team that this entire year was essentially defined by they always managed to play close games. Their last 5 games, starting with the last game they played against the Nets, 18-point win, 21-point win, 6-point win, 22-point win, and then against the Celtics, a 15-point win. So again, recent history suggests there's a good reason all the money should be going on the Knicks. I'm scared. It's a rivalry. It's going to be a rivalry for the Nets. The Nets have a history just dating back last year of coming back from big deficits against the Knicks. They almost did it in the last game that they played. I think the Knicks are going to come out with a win. This is one I would stay clear of. That's what I will say.
Okay, so Knicks money line and Nets plus 7.5 seems to be the lean, but more of a steer clear on this one.
Yeah.
Jonathan, let everyone know where they can see the latest coverage for the Knicks tonight.
Yeah, so shout out to Knicks Film School has a Patreon. We are doing our weekly playback watch party for all of our patrons, where you could watch the game along with your friends at Knicks Film School, me included. And then, just check out Knicks Film School YouTube for pre and post game coverage. And that's basically it. It's some good stuff. Hopefully, I'm still floating on Cloud 9 next time we talk next week.
Sounds good. I hope to see you there. The Spurs won last night, so I'm on cloud like 15 right now, if that even exists. He is Jonathan Macri. You can see him on Twitter, JC Macri NBA. Again, Knicks Film School, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere to be. That's where you can find him. If you can't find him, search up Knicks Film School with a K, because they're the cool kids like that. They use school with a K. Jonathan, hopefully we're in the green next week. Appreciate it as always, and good luck tonight.
You too, my friend.